Hi, welcome to our workshop today. Today, we're going to talk about celebrating our life and those that we have been blessed to share it with. I know at times that we lose someone, we're in so much pain that we don't think of it as a blessing, and many times it's not. Something good comes out of every situation, though. And today, we're going to talk about our growth since that situation. I'm going to share my screen and my slideshow here. Just give me a moment, please. There we go. Okay. Celebrating our lives and those we've shared it with. And we have been so blessed to have had them in our lives. We always have a choice every day that we can continue to weep and moan and groan and feel so sad that it ruins the rest of our lives. But we also grow through it. We learn strengths in ourselves that we never knew we had before. I want to welcome you to this hour of reflection on a beautiful tapestry of relationships that shape our lives. Together, we'll explore the power of gratitude, the strength we find in difficult times, and the enduring presence of those that we've loved and lost. This journey celebrates not just memories, but how these connections continue to guide us forward with hope and purpose. It starts with gratitude in our daily life. As a morning practice, I do this myself, beginning each day by acknowledging 3 specific things that you're grateful for. It's a simple ritual that shifts your mindset before your feet even touch the floor. It starts your day off with a positive note. It could be as simple as, thank you for this bed. Thank you that I woke up this morning. Thank you that I had a good night's sleep. Thank you that this person is my friend. Something happened. The whole point is just gratitude. Okay. It creates a foundation for appreciation that carries through your day. It makes all the difference in the world. And it's the simple pleasures. Savor the aroma of fresh coffee. I notice when I come downstairs in the morning, my coffee's on a timer and I smell the fresh coffee. It's already waiting for me. Notice the play of the sunshine through the leaves. Maybe take your coffee out back and sit on the deck if you can. And look at the sunlight through the leaves. Listen to the birds. Or appreciate a kind smile from a stranger. These small moments, when truly experienced, they become the building blocks of a joyful life. Have you ever been walking down the street and you met people and you smiled and they didn't smile back? The majority of the time, they will smile back at you. And how do you know that you didn't make their day? Maybe they were really going through a rough time. And your smile, one person cared enough to smile, might have changed their whole day. I know my sister was going out of Walmart one day, and a little lady was sitting on the bench there, and she was just kind of down. And as Sharon went by, she said, "Oh, that's such a pretty dress you've got on. It's so nice on you." And that lady just sat up and she just perked up and she smiled, made her feel good. And as she walked away, Sharon turned around and looked back, and that lady was still sitting there just smiling. She may have been a very lonely lady and no one paid any attention to her. Who knows? But at least at that moment, someone cared. And then there's emotional resilience. Our resilience is how we jump back from a situation, how we recover. So research shows that practicing gratitude strengthens our emotional well-being, reduces stress, and builds resilience against life's inevitable challenges. We are going to have challenges in our lives, always, for as long as we live. Some are big, some are small. Some completely take your breath away. It's not just good for our souls, but it's good for our health. If you think about it, your mind controls your body. If you have a cut on your hand and your mind keeps saying, it's healing, it's healing, it's healing, and positiveness, you'd be surprised how much faster that will heal because your mind is controlling your body. And your attitude is everything. Everything. When we practice gratitude consistently, we train our minds to notice the abundance rather than the absence of our lives. We will always miss those that we've lost. But think about what they added to our lives. Oh my gosh, the ones that I have lost, my life would have never been the same without them. Each one of them was a jewel around my neck. Each one of them meant so much to me and added so much to my life. I know that's the same with you. I know it. The thing with it is that we look for the good rather than what's gone. Mindful practices to foster appreciation. Actions that we can take that it becomes a habit to appreciate. Maybe we didn't grow up with that. But you know what? We always have a choice. We're adults. We can change things if we want to. We can start a gratitude journal. I know I kept one for a long time and then I stopped and I thought, I really need to get back into that. Record specific moments. Excuse me, I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. Record specific moments of gratitude rather than general statements. The specific is the key word here. Instead of, I'm grateful for my friend, right? I'm grateful that Sarah brought me soup when I was sick and made me laugh despite feeling terrible. See how she talks about the person, the action that person took, and then how it made her feel. Just saying I'm grateful for my friend really doesn't say a lot about your friend. Our friends are everything. My friends have served as adopted sisters and brothers and mothers. When my kids grew up in Florida, we had no relatives around. We adopted people as our family members, and you love them too. Take a gratitude walk. Take a slow, deliberate walk with all your senses engaged. Remember the 5 senses. Notice the colors, especially this time of the year, July. The flowers are blooming, the lilies are blooming. The textures. Look at the fresh mowed lawns. They just look so neat. And the sounds. You hear the birds? All kinds of birds making their sweet sounds. Just sit on the back somewhere in the morning, especially, and have your cup of coffee. Just listen to nature. Just close your eyes and listen. You'll be surprised what you'll think about and what you become aware of. That's the key. You become aware, but you're taking the time to do that. And the scents. Oh my gosh. When Mother's Day was here, of course, my mother having passed, both my parents, she loved lilacs, and my lilacs were so beautiful this year and so fragrant that I went and picked up all these lilacs. And rather than putting an artificial wreath on her grave, I completely spread her grave with lilacs. She knew it. I could swear she could smell them. It was so beautiful. Acknowledge each as a gift from God, experiencing the world as a treasure to be discovered rather than a landscape to pass through. What they say about stop and smell the roses. It's true. Don't be in such a hurry to do something. I love nothing more than to stop right on the road somewhere where I see a beautiful scene and whip out my phone and take a picture. When I came back to Nebraska for the spring, the first, I got late Friday night, I got in Saturday morning early. I was headed out to my Toastmasters meeting. The sun was absolutely gorgeous. I had to stop and take a picture. It was breathtaking. And I said, well, Nebraska was welcoming me home with a beautiful sunrise. It was gorgeous. But just appreciate it though. That moment will never happen again. If you're driving along and you see a sunset, it looks so beautiful, and you get a couple miles down the road, it's not going to look the same. Stop right there. If you don't take a picture of it, appreciate it, take it in. And connection rituals. Perform intentional acts of kindness for others, expressing appreciation through notes, calls, or meaningful hugs. Just a phone call to someone that's, really having a rough day, or just a little note. I'm thinking of you. Or meaningful hugs. I know in our grief share group, there's about 16 of us. We start and we end their meetings with hugs. What most of us have lost our spouse. And one thing about when you lose your spouse, you lose the touch. I knew my husband's touch. I knew his smell. But just that hug, it's that physical touch from someone else that cares about you. It's awesome. It's awesome. And these practices strengthen our community bonds and reminds us of our interconnectedness. There are people around us, think people in our church, our neighbors, that come forward to help us when we're in need. Now, we have to be a gracious receiver, yes, but we also want to be a gracious giver. Pass that forward. Hand that consideration on to someone else. You appreciated it, and they will too. This one's kind of hard sometimes. Seeing the best in challenging times. Life's difficulties often contain hidden gifts that only become visible when we shift our perspective, or sometimes when we look back after the incident happened. We reframe our challenges as opportunities. We discover strengths we never knew that we possessed. My husband and I had a motorhome, and our last trip was to Jacksonville, Florida, to my grandson's wedding. It's a beautiful wedding. We didn't know that was going to be our last trip. John wasn't much of a dancer other than slow dancing, but we were up doing the YMCA and the Congo line, and it was so much fun. I mean, it was just great. 5 weeks later, he'd be gone. That was a gift. That trip was a gift that it was just, there was something special about it that was so much more fun than any of the other trips that we took. And now I know it was a gift that God gave me for a good memory. My brother died 9 days before my husband. A couple of weeks before he died, before he came down, I was diagnosed with 2 brain tumors, one in his chest and one in his groin. I took the day off work, and he came in to help me repair the top step on my porch. I said, oh, it was like old times when it's just he and I. He was 13 months older than me, and we double dated, and he was just the best friend. I said, this is like old times when it was just you and me. It was a wonderful, wonderful day. And 2 weeks later, he was life-flighted. That was a gift. We hadn't been able to do anything like that in a long time. That was a blessed gift. Sometimes we don't realize it at the time. We have to look back before we realize that it was a gift. But our perspective is what makes the difference. We have to shift it and appreciate what we have been given. Yes, we could sit and cry about what we've lost. I miss everyone I've lost, especially my husband and my child. But life does go on. I wouldn't be doing the grief recovery. I wouldn't have gone take the training, become licensed to do that if I had not gone through 7 significant losses in my immediate family member in 2 years. It was a really rough time. But my lesson in all that happened is that I can help others that were in the same boat that I was in. I didn't have thousands of dollars to spend on no therapist for years and years. I didn't have a soft place to fall. I had my family, my friends that were wonderful support. But going and taking that training, I had to go through the same course that I give my clients. It's like the cloud lifted. And I understood the emotions that I was going through, that I was experiencing. And to know that I'm normal, I thought, sometimes you think, oh, nobody could be having these problems. You'd be surprised. Everyone grieves differently because their situation and also, their relationship is different. Each one is unique. So each one has different perspectives. But the key thing here is to be positive and look for the best. We have to face the challenge. That ain't easy. Mm-mm. Think about a significant duty or difficulty that you faced in 2024. What initially seemed like an unsurmountable obstacle? I buried my best friend of 71 years. That was hard to do. She'd always been there. I could tell her anything. And she was so supportive. It was hard to do. But I know she had been sick. She had cancer. I was happy for her, but we mourned for us because we're the ones left behind until we meet them again. We will be with them. And how did it test my resilience and determination? After I'd gone through my training, I understood what that was about. Didn't mean it didn't hurt. Didn't mean I wasn't sad. But I understood the emotions that I was feeling at the time. It made it easier for me to understand it. And recognize the support. Who stood beside you during this time? What unexpected help arrived? A death, like a divorce, even a rough time, say bankruptcy, loss of a pet. You would be surprised how many times the one that you thought would be there for you is not there. And the ones that come forward, you would never have expected it. When I lost my son, 23 years old, to suicide, I had no family around. I lived in Florida. My church family was my support. And my sister, Sharon, bless her heart, she called me 2 or 3 times a week. She lost a child too. She understood the pain of losing a child. It's different than losing a spouse. They say it's worse than a spouse, but I don't know. I don't think I would agree with that because they each have their own kind of pain because you love them differently. The relationship was differently, but they're both very painful. All of our losses are painful. We just can't let it hold us back. We have to go on living. Sometimes our darkest moments reveal the depth of love surrounding us. Those people that come forward that we didn't expect, yeah, that's when they show up. We have to discover the growth. We grow. What strengths or insights emerged from this experience? Well, after I went through all those losses, I would never have gone on and done the training for the grief recovery. But because I did, I think that was the thing that promoted me to go do that. And that way I can help other people that are in the same boat. I didn't have thousands of dollars to spend or years for a therapist. I had to go through the same course as I take my clients. It was eye-opening, really, really eye-opening. I know I said that before, but I can't stress it enough. It helped me understand that I was normal. I was grieving. I found strengths and insights to this experience that I never thought about before because I'd never been through that. How did you surprise yourself? I had strength I didn't realize I had. There's things that you have to get done. Write the obituary, call the pastor. You might be just like a zombie when you're going through it. If you're blessed to have someone else help you do it, that's great. A lot of it fell on my shoulders. Things I had to learn. The lessons will carry you forward that wouldn't have come any other way. I wouldn't have known that had I not suffered those deaths. I think we have to experience it to feel it. And it hurts. And we can honor and celebrate those that we've lost. I like this quote: to live in hearts we leave behind. To live in hearts we leave behind is not to die. Think of that. Someone's left you, they've gone, but they're still in your heart. Thomas Campbell, well said. Our loved ones continue to live through our stories, our traditions, and ways that they've shaped who we are. I can remember telling stories about my dad, some of the crazy things that he said, or something mom had said that was so funny. It was so much fun just remembering those things. And then when you got somebody else that was at the same time there experiencing it with you, there's different stories. There's different perspectives of what the situation was like. But there's a lot of laughter. Yes, there could be tears, but there's laughter too. Make room for laughter. By intentionally celebrating their lives, we keep their spirits present in our daily experience. I talk about John's life all the time. I never took a picture of him down. He's in my life all the time. So are my children. Great tribute, traditions like anniversary toasts or special meals featuring their favorite foods. Whenever we were going to have a get together, I'd ask my mom, what do you want me to make? 3-bean salad. Every time she'd say 3-bean salad, she liked mine. So I would make it for her. And even now, when I make it, I think of her. Or I think that some people will leave an empty chair for that person, set the table and everything. I know my great nephew got married in Colorado here last year. I drove out for it. His grandpa had just died a few months before that. They had one chair, and they had his grandpa's picture sitting on that chair. And it makes you feel like they're there in spirit. And don't let anybody make fun of you. Do what makes you feel good. What's good in your heart that you can honor that person, that it brings back joy in the memories that you had with that person? It's good. Share stories that capture their essence with younger generations. If you think about this picture, I would say that's grandparents. What if these young children lost their parents at an early age and the grandparents are raising them? Those kids might not remember their parents. When my son died, he had a 3-year-old child. He doesn't remember his dad. And it breaks my heart to think that he doesn't know what a wonderful person he was. He was kind, he was sweet, he was tenderhearted, he was my hug me baby. I can still remember his little fat arms around my neck. He was just a sweet person. We want to carry their presence as we move forward. We carry them with us in spirit. There's living lessons, the wisdom, humor, and that's always good, humor, and perspectives of those we've lost continue to guide our decisions and shape our worldview. Think about the lessons that those people have taught us. Excuse me. What they've shared with us. Maybe if your mother taught you different things, my mother would always say, good, better, best, never let it rest. Till the good is better and the better is best. And I taught that to my children. Good, better, best, never let it rest. Till the good is better and the better is best. My daughter will still recite that to this day. It's true. It's a helpful, positive thing to say, but that was one of the things my mother taught me. And I treasure that. I'm so glad she did. And I don't know why that stuck out more than anything, but it did. Their voices become part of our internal dialogue, offering counsel during difficult choices. I'd say, okay, what would Dad do? When I started doing these videos on the computer, I had a picture of my dad on that side and a picture of my mom on that side. So when I looked at the camera, it was like I was talking to them. And above Dad's picture, I had written, "What would Dad do? What would Dad do in this situation?" You'd be surprised. Their counsel is guiding you. Spiritual connection. I have never been without my faith. I can't imagine anyone going through one loss, let alone multiple losses, without having spirit. I think if we just had the big flood in Texas, all those innocent lives, those children. Oh, that's just heartbreaking. They were at a Christian Bible camp. They knew Christ. To me, that means a lot. As the Irish blessing says, may those that we've loved and have gone before us always walk with us. Many find comfort in the sense that loved ones remain present in spirit, watching over our journey. How many of us think about we've got guardian angels, those that we've lost? They're watching over us. And then there's symbolic presence. These are tangible things. These are things you can physically touch. And they're reminders. Lighting candles. My husband died in August. At Christmas time, I bought a candle. And all Christmas Day, that candle burned. At the end of the day, I would put it out. And each year since then, I have brought that candle out. And all day Christmas Day, that candle burns. On the lid, I write the year that it burned. It's just a simple symbol. But it's almost like bringing a part of him to me. And that means a lot. Display keepsakes, something they really treasured, maybe. Are continuing traditions, creating sacred spaces where we acknowledge the ongoing influence of those who shaped our hearts. My husband was very active in the Kiwanis Club. They do things for children. This man never had children. He had stepchildren. And he belonged seriously for a long time to the Kiwanis Club that does things for kids. Now, every week that they would meet, and he would drive 2 hours to the meeting every week, we would save the $1 bills that had the letter K on it. They called them K dollars. If you look at them, there's different letters on them, but they would save the K ones for Kiwanis and kids. And they had this huge baby bottle, and it had a split in the side of it. And when they would come to the meeting, they would put their K dollars in that bottle. And that money would go into their treasury. They'd do things for kids. That's one thing I have continued to do in the last 4 years. I still collect the K dollars. And when I get a few of them, I send them back up to John's Club. And they put it in the bottle for me in honor of him. So it doesn't have to be anything elaborate. It can be something very simple. But it helps us honor them. And we're carrying their love forward into the new chapters of our lives. Our loss is not our whole book. It's a chapter. When you've been married for a long time and you lose your spouse, it's a big chapter. John and I had 6.5 years. We married late in our 60s. I treasure that. I wish we'd had longer, yes, but we didn't. We knew when we got married that we weren't going to have 50 years. So we vowed then we would make the best of what we had and enjoy whatever it brought us. And we did. We bought a motorhome. We put 50,000 miles in that motorhome in 5 years. The first year we went to California, to New Mexico, or to Texas, to Jacksonville, Florida, and to the Great Lakes. We hit all 4 waters in the first year. It was so fun. And I have pictures of us walking into those waters holding hands. I'm so glad we did that. So glad. And look to the future with open hearts. When our heart is breaking, that can be hard to do. But in order for us to progress forward, we need to keep our heart open. Our heart will heal. It'll never be the same, but it will heal. And if we open our hearts, that's when our new chapter starts. We're cultivating hope through those connections. So as we move forward, we carry not just memories, but the very essence of those who've touched our lives. Everyone we have met has touched our life in some way. Some are more, some are less. Their influence shapes our vision of the future and inspires our contributions to the world. It helps make us who we are today. We're not the same person we were 10, 20 years ago. We were meant to go on with life. We were meant to progress, to learn as we go. We have more to offer other people because of the lessons that we've learned and the times and trials that we go through. We need to set intentions, create meaningful goals inspired by the values and the dreams of those who guided you. What legacy would honor their influence in your life? For me, it was still collecting the K dollars in my husband's memory, supporting the club that he loved. But you can do all kinds of things. Many people plant trees. My friend planted a tree in honor of her husband, put a plaque down there with his name on it. Another neighbor lost their son. They put the tree in their yard, where the first one put him in the park. Any way that you want to do it. Maybe there's a certain kind of flower. My mother loved lilies. I have lilies all over my backyard, and now they are blooming like crazy. Yellow ones and pink ones and orange ones and rust ones. They're beautiful. I said, I did the lilacs on my mother for Mother's Day. But then my dad, the peonies were blooming in June. And I went and I covered his grave with the peonies, all the different colors. It was beautiful. Didn't mean anything to anyone else, but meant something to me. It was a connection. I set intentions to do something to honor them and pay it forward. I think this is a really, really important lesson here because we don't just go through it, we grow through it. Joel Osteen says that, and I really agree with him. We grow through it because we have learned our own strengths in those trials that we didn't know we had. You'd be surprised who might need those strengths that you can now offer. Extend to others the same support, kindness, and presence that sustained you during difficult times. Become the person who makes others feel seen and valued, which is a human need. We want to feel valued and we want to be seen. People want to be helped, hugged, and heard. And we do pay it forward. That's exactly what we're doing. We're giving them value and embrace the new beginnings. If your loss has been recent, it's harder to imagine that. But as time goes by, it does feel more able to do it. Might be baby steps. But you can get up Mount Everest if you take baby steps. You'll eventually get there. Just take you a little longer. Approach new challenges with gratitude for what has been and openness to what might be. Knowing your capacity for connection continues to grow. Our trials teach us. There's a lesson in every situation. Sometimes we're not aware of it. Sometimes we're not paying attention. We have to listen. We have to listen. We have to be aware of it. And then what we do with it. It either helps us grow, we can pass on to someone else and it will help them grow or give them comfort. I know one thing I learned. It's easy to be a gracious giver. It's hard to be a gracious receiver. When we go through trials and other people are trying to do kind things for us, and sometimes we say, oh, I'm fine. Be a gracious receiver. They want to help you. They want to do something good for you. Be a gracious receiver. Embrace new beginnings. Yeah. Know your capacity for connection continues to grow. You continue to grow. We are all just walking each other home. Beautifully said, Ram Dass. I just think they're with us all the time. They're here in spirit. Physically, they're at the grave we go to. Spiritually, they're with God. Emotionally, they are in our heart forever. Our heart is big enough that we have room for other people in our heart to love too. There's that one special spot that belongs to that one special person. And it's only theirs. No one can take their place. But your heart is big, and keep it open to future possibilities. As our time together draws to a close, I invite you to share aloud or silently express one thing that you're grateful for right now. I'm grateful that Zoom came into effect. If COVID hadn't hit, it might not have. But then again, it may have been. May have just been time for it. But I'm grateful for Zoom because I can talk to people all over the world. I can help them go through what I went through and understand the emotions so they can go on and live a fulfilling life, open their hearts to new beginnings, maybe remarry. But they have, their feelings have been heard, their grief has been heard. And then they can go on to a new life. This simple act anchors us in the present while honoring all that has brought us to this moment. And remember, each day is a gift. Every memory is a blessing. Each relationship, a thread in the tapestry of our lives. By celebrating what has been, we enrich what is and create space for what might be. All the people in my life, I have been blessed to know people from all over the world. And they may be young, old, male, female, single, married, black, white. It doesn't make a difference. It's the person they are that I care about. That's where I go. And every one of them has a different color thread. And in the tapestry of my life, it's very colorful. And that means I've lived and I've loved. And I'm so glad I did. When you keep your heart open, God will bring more love to you. May not be the same, but He will bring love to you and comfort. Just keep your heart open. We enrich what is and create space for what might be. We don't know what's around the corner. Let's raise an imaginary glass. I've got my tea here. Raise a glass to them. Here's to those we love, those we've lost, and those we'll always carry with us in every step, in every choice, every moment of joy and sorrow that makes up this beautiful journey we call life. Because of that time we shared with them, it does make a difference in how we think, so it makes our choices different. And our moments of joy, maybe we wouldn't appreciate something before, but now we really do. It changes our life because that person came into our life. My husband wasn't perfect. I'm not perfect, but he was perfect for me. And he was the greatest love of my life. I'll never forget his love. And my life is going on. And I hope yours does too. I'm going to take a drink what I got. Thank you for celebrating this workshop with me, our life and those that we've shared it with. The biggest thing is that celebrate what you had, who you shared your life with. Be grateful for it and look at it as a blessing. But know that You have blessings ahead of you too. We carry their thoughts, we carry our love for them forward with us. And we're going to be with them again. I've never been without my faith. I can't imagine anyone going through life's trials without faith. I know people do. For me, it's everything. I couldn't have done what I'm doing now if I didn't have faith that God would give me the strength to do it, that I can reach out for other people. I can help them go through their grief. But I'm also a life mastery consultant. So for 11 years, I've also been a life coach. And I talk to people about maybe their health and well-being, their vocation, their relationships, or their time and money freedom. What do they want to do with their life? Many times after someone has gone through the grief course, it's 8 weeks with me. At that time, I like to transition them over into rebuilding, what I call new beginnings. And they can start restructuring their life again because they're not the same person. The life has taught you some lessons, though, so it could be better in certain areas too. But that's the time they want to start rebuilding. And we evaluate their life. What do they treasure? What do they want to carry forward? What do they want to leave behind? So many times it's your longing of what you want or your discontent of what you don't want that propels you forward to find the life that you want. I've been there. I have done it. I can help you do it too. I do offer a free 1-hour conversation. You can go to my website there, and under the conversation, you can go to my calendar, see what openings I have. We can talk about life. We can talk about grief. We can talk about whatever you want to. Relationships. Just go through a divorce. That's a loss. There's like 40 different kinds of loss. In fact, if you go to the website, there's a list of the 40 different kinds of loss, which I find fascinating because sometimes even the smallest things that we don't think about, we grieve over. Think about with COVID. Okay, gentleman loses his job. Can't make his payments on his house. He loses his house. His wife says, I can't handle this. I'm out of here. And she takes the children and the dog. This was no fault of his own. All this stockpiled on him. Yeah, it happens. But look what he lost. And he had to start all over again. Sadly, some people, they don't start over. They stay stuck in their grief. And that's not healthy because even in the Bible, it says, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. It doesn't say stop, pitch a tent. And some people get stuck in their grief. The basic thing is that even though they're unhappy where they're at, the fear of the future is stronger than the uncomfortableness that they're feeling in their situation. I'm their bridge to help them get unstuck, to go forward and look at life in a different perspective. So however I can help, please, by all means, go to the website, book an appointment with me. It's a free hour, no cost. Feel invited, but not obligated. I hope to see you soon. And I hope that you celebrate your life and those you shared it with. They helped you be who you are today.